Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird, a Blackbird's Brew. Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to Modern Problems, Pagan Solutions. Our theme today is Cultivate a Noble Character. Now, nobility has two meanings. It either refers to a hereditary class of people of very high standing in society, or it refers to possessing and exhibiting admirable and outstanding moral traits and having personal high standards of behavior. This video will focus upon the second definition exclusively. Now, given the state of the world, I hope that the motivations for bringing up this idea and the need for it are self evident to you. We are plagued by people who lack all moral conviction. They have no consistent principles and kind of an anything goes attitude towards conduct for themselves and, frankly, everybody else. Now, can we agree that this has not worked out very well? Yeah, pretty much thought that we could. As pagans, we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to advice for developing our character and becoming better versions of ourselves. And the Nine Noble Virtues is one of the more prominent declarations of principle that reflects values of Norse culture, and it has been adopted by many modern day Norse pagans. The first is courage. Courage is doing that which is right, fitting, and proper, regardless of personal fears. If all of us reflect upon the times when we've told ourselves that, we couldn't do something, or when others have expressed that they couldn't do something, isn't it true that more often than not, there was a fear of consequences for taking a stand, and that people were telling themselves that they can't, and they were pretending that they were being prudent, when in truth they were just being cowardly? Courage is the antidote for the disasters that take place when people are ruled by fear. Now, the second on the list, discipline. To be disciplined is to do that which one needs to do without procrastination, without needing to be bribed, without needing to be threatened to do it. This requires initiative and having a sense of personal purpose that exists regardless of external influences. It's getting up, attending to your duties, and not waiting around for a day when you feel like doing it. No, you get up and you do what needs to be done. The third on the list is fidelity. This is knowing who your team is, your interests, being in an alignment with those that you care about or those you are in service to, and pursuing and protecting those interests. This is a rejection of the idea of, oh, I can just abandon ship whenever things get difficult. It is a voluntary binding to the people that you care about, and it requires considerable investment. Next up, we have honor. This is comprised of keeping promises, demonstrating through one's deeds that one is trustworthy, and acting in a manner that reflects well upon oneself, one's family, ancestors, and gods. Then we have hospitality, because the breaking of bread and the comforts of opening up one's home, it's a means of building relationships with family and friends, and also for establishing relationships with new acquaintances. Our world is increasingly atomized. People don't have anybody. And so the concept of being a good host and a good guest, these are things that are swiftly becoming foreign concepts in people's minds. So the virtue of hospitality is in great need of resurrection. Then we have industriousness. Pagan and non pagan alike, we should all be productive members of society. Whatever the job is, if we have agreed to undertake that job, then we ought to do that job to the best of our ability and seek success. Then perseverance. Nothing comes easily, at least nothing worthwhile. And it is vital not to give up whenever there's an obstacle in your path. Looking for a way around, over, through a problem, that helps build character because you're trying to solve the difficulty rather than just throwing up your hands and saying, oh, it's too much for me. It's important that we see a job through to completion despite any difficulties. And when we do this, it makes us more valuable and more worthy of respect. Then we have self reliance. While total self reliance isn't feasible, because I don't think there's really a person on earth who could do absolutely everything for themselves and be able to survive, at least not for very long. I've never seen such a person, and they would be they would be quite a fearsome thing to behold, because that's a lot of skills when you get right down to it. And even if you got someone who collected all their tools and they had their homestead and this and that, well, someone had to make the tools, and it probably wasn't the person doing the homesteading, and there's just a host of things that go into it. So having this self reliance in the absolute sense, that's not going to be what we're really aiming for. But what we can do is learn how to effectively manage our affairs, to become more proficient at conducting the trade of skills and goods, and just to not be a burden upon other people. And while it's true that most people will experience hard times at least at one point in their lives, it doesn't follow that anyone has to be stuck in those hard times. Working yourself out of a hole, that is an admirable thing to do, and it prepares you to meet the future, especially any future adversity, much more successfully. And now we have truth. You will notice this refers to the truth, not my truth, not your truth. The expressions my truth, your truth, they're not truth at all. It really is a corruption of a concept. What it actually is perceptions. And our perceptions are just that. They are what we perceive, they are our evaluation of the information at our disposal and the environment that we're in, so far as what is known to us and so far as what we're willing to observe. Now, sometimes our perceptions are aligned with the facts, and sometimes our perceptions are even aligned with truth, which truth is a step beyond mere fact. But the truth does not yield or contort itself to accommodate our perceptions. It is what it is. It remains what it is, regardless of our hopes or fears. And furthermore, as long as we're on the subject of making distinctions about this, a fact is something that is describing something that is concrete, measurable, quantifiable, observable. But the truth is an honest evaluation of what that fact means. Subtle difference there, but it is there. So, the nine noble virtues, they're merely one prescription amongst many in the pagan world about building a good and strong character that is capable of choosing right action. But I think it does a good job in describing not only important Norse principles, but good principles in general that are perfectly compatible with American culture. And regardless of religious affiliation, what rational objection could there be to these principles? And I do stress the word rational because we know that the lunatics of this world are very good at doing enough mental gymnastics to where they can come up with all sorts of objections and manufactured issues. But let's set the crazy people aside for just one moment. Any reasonable individual who has functioning brain cells can see the benefit of people having courage, a sense of self discipline, fidelity, honor, showing hospitality, being industriousness, persevering against all obstacles, becoming self reliant, and valuing, seeking, and expressing truth. The bottom line is that these ideas, when put into practice, makes for a better individual, and by extension, that improves the state of the world. So, what do we have to lose by learning to better exhibit these virtues and setting an example that could benefit others? Seems like a place to start at any rate. Those are my thoughts. Let me know about your own impressions in the comment section below, or come see us on Gilded. Our server is called Blackbird's Brew. There's a link in the description box to join us, and you'd be very welcome there to share your thoughts about this video, or indeed any of the other videos and or any of the other content that is available at Blackbird's Brew. We are collaborating with a variety of different pagan content creators, and we're all helping promote each other and expose each other to a wider and growing audience. At least that's the goal. And of course, this is also a good place to have conversation starters. Whatever it is that's on your mind, we probably have a channel for it at Blackbird's Brew. And if there isn't one, just approach me and we can probably arrange for that. Or I can at least redirect you to the proper location for that sort of discussion. But that will do it for now. Hope to see you at Blackbird's Brew soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.